event, I recall my discussion with my mom when I was younger, when she used to be very fascinated by one of our neighbors. There was one particular woman in our neighbor. I grew up in Morocco, by the way, so just to give you a background. And this woman got married very young. She had her fourth kid before reaching her 20s, and then her husband passed away. And my mom used to find her as an exceptional woman. She used to say, look at her, she's working hard, she's raising her children, she's like a man. And in the eyes of my mom, this woman was exceptional because she represents everything that man is. So in this event today, what we're trying to do is to really look at the history, what we have felt when it comes to women, and look and prepare for the present and the future, where successful women will be the rule, not the exception.
And I was looking around, and it seems to be I'm the odd one out. I think I'm the only man here, and therefore it's a very interesting experience for me. And this actually reflects the background, it reflects the attitude and the mental mindsets I have inherited. But let me start by kind of giving an overall introduction to why you are here and what's Women Quake. But perhaps it would be transparent to tell you how excited and delighted I am to see you all here this afternoon. I'm glad you're here, and I promise you, you are in for a real treat. We are hoping that after the champagne, later on, you will leave with some ideas, and we are hoping that you will come back and try to share your experiences and what you think we should be doing. But a few words about Women Quake. Women Quake is a movement with a clear vision, and it began its life with the idea of creating a place for an honest, passionate, and informed debate. This is the starting point. This is where we want to begin, and this is perhaps our second or the third event of that nature. And why is it? Why have we created it? And why we have thought of doing this? Now, the idea is, the aim is that it creates a mindful and dedicated community that, with the purpose of nudging history towards a better future of a human experience. Hence, the better ideas, a better future. Now, we believe, and it will be interesting to see what you think, we believe by examining and challenging our inherited, mindless, and sometimes faulty thoughts and assumptions and cultural background that shape and inform our individual and collective images concerning gender differences and the role of women in society should be at least looked at critically and very carefully. You might think at the beginning that what I'm telling you is quite lofty and it is a bit unrealistic. But think with me. Our civilization, if you go back to history, to the time history was recorded, our civilization has progressed, or the story of our human story has progressed on the basis of ideas and thoughts. Everything around you, whether it's external, internal, other than the environmental things, the natural things, are actually started with an idea or a thought, or a human thought. Now, this is a powerful, but also a very elusive phenomenon, to believe that with your thoughts and ideas and determination you can change the external world. Of course, you have to change also the internal self as well. But the idea simply is this, that The ideas which you have and the thoughts are the engine that have driven human experiences. All our ideas are the engine that have driven our experiences throughout the ages. Our external and internal realities, whether it's inner or external, began with an idea or a thought. Our ideas and beliefs justify, they give the justification for our actions and behavior.
I was always very athletics. I've done every sport you can imagine before doing karting and then motorsport. So I think I was meant to be in the sports world, I would say. Motorsport, why motorsport? I tried, I loved it, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I was kind of a focused kid. When I had an idea in my head, it was not somewhere else. And when we were talking about resilience, well, I have seen kids that were much more talented than me, with much more money than me. I have seen kids who were, arriving at the track and directly understood the way it was supposed to be. And I think the only thing I had more was really the fact that I wouldn't be able to give up. If I finished, I finished actually last of my first go-kart race. I was ridiculous, like literally. But that was a lesson, and I was not thinking I'm not able to do it because I'm last. I was thinking, okay, you suck. That's a fact. Let's build from there. Let's learn. Where did you miss something? How is it possible that you are so slow compared to the other driver? Because they are all boys? Well, you have 2 hands, 2 feet. This is not the reason. This is not the problem here. So I analyzed the problem, and I'm like, I was 13 years old when I, so no, with the whole story I can analyze it, but it was much more chaotic in my head at that time. I was just thinking, you can do it. There is no reason you cannot do it, so why don't you do it? Why are you not fast enough? And the race after was a little bit better, and so on and so on. So resilience is not just, oh, I knew I was the best and I failed because of something external to me. No, so most of the time you fail because of you. And it's actually this time that it's much more difficult to stand up after it and go over it, because it's really easier to project your failure on other people, other external reason. It's much more difficult to accept that you are the own reason of your failure, but that's also the best way to actually improve yourself and stand up to the next level, let's say. Oh, we'll stop here. I have actually some skills, some approach that are a little bit different, and that brings much more than just being good for the image. So for me that was very, very important, and I'm actually very happy and proud that I demonstrate it every day in what I'm doing. One of the questions you asked me when I arrived was about discrimination, and if I experienced it a lot in motorsport. Well, you can imagine that the guys are not very happy about having a woman racing faster than them, so for sure they're not always very happy about this. But discrimination, no, I just don't let it happen, and I think that's the best behavior you can have in terms of discrimination between men and women. I know it's easier to say than do it, but it's actually possible in some cases, and what is very important is that you stand up when you have the opportunity to do it. It's not always the case, but that's life. But sometimes you can stand up, sometimes you can actually show better, and I think it's important. So tonight, ask me any question. For me, there's no taboo. I have no problem to debate, and I know my ideas are a little bit sometimes straight to the point. I have no problem to hear to other ones. And of course, I can talk only from my experience, and the world I'm evolving in is very, very specific. It's a sport. It's a business because there is a lot of money involved. But I know it's not the rule everywhere in the business world, I would say. So I know I don't have answer to everything. Don't misunderstand me. But if I can give a little bit, well, I'm happy to do it, and especially if I can learn from you, I'm even happier. Thank you.
Okay, we pass on this.
So good evening, everyone. I'm really proud to be in front of such a nice audience. My name is Yela, like the brand. 4 years ago, I quit, as he introduced me. I quit a career that was working quite well. I was quite successful, but there was something missing. And I decided that I would pursue my dream. And my dream was basically to work in fashion and develop my own brand and have a platform to express myself. And the thing is that, okay, yes, where is the trick there? The trick was that I had no idea where I was going. I never attended a fashion school, I never worked in fashion, I knew nothing, I had no contact, I started from scratch. Like, I had this notebook, and even to get some design, I was like terrified. But kind of, it became like a call that I had to listen, and it became obvious that it was really something I wanted to do. So what I'm usually telling people when they ask me, but why fashion? I mean, it's quite superficial. Why do you make it something so essential in your life? And my answer is usually that I deeply and strongly believe that it has nothing to do only with fashion. It has to do with you finding your purpose. I mean, for me it was fashion because the first time I opened a fashion magazine I was just 5. And it was like time stopped, and I was looking at all these images and could realize that this creative process was amazing. Like, someone started with just an idea and he came up with, you know, the clothes, the whole image and the whole atmosphere, and he had something to tell. And for me it was really attractive. And then the second thing I usually tell to people is that we all have that. We all have received something, maybe a passion, a talent, or an interest, or anything that really tickles you and comes back to you. And I think it's our job in that, or our duty, to pursue that thing and to listen to that thing. So once you have that call and that you feel that there's something you want to do, just listen to it. Because the second thing is that it has to be big. It has to be to look impossible, to shake you. It has to be like, okay, what am I going to do? Because the bigger it is, the more exciting it becomes. Because you have to push the limits in order to actually discover your own potential. I think that people don't usually tell young girls that they can dream big, but I think it's our duty to tell the new generation that there are really no limits. We can be presidents, we can drive huge companies, we can do anything we want. It has just to be something that we really want to do. And then it's your job to be creative, to find the good contacts to get there. And then the third thing that I learned from this whole journey, and this may be the reason why I'm in front of all of you, is that actually it's all about connections. It's all about, yes, you were talking about networking, but I think this journey was really, it was not my personal journey. It became like, how do you say, me opening up to people, meeting people, learning from people, growing in a way that I wasn't expecting. And people can always, when you express things in a very authentic way, it resonates with people. They say, they feel that they could be you. So they kind of start to think about ideas or people that could help you. And that's what opened doors to me that I wasn't expecting. Like one or 2 months ago, I was in the Vogue UK, and I was almost crying because for the little girl of 5 who opened that magazine, to see one of her designs in such a huge and recognized magazine, it was just an achievement in such, and I think you have to find a way to share your dreams with people, because when people are afraid to share their ideas and everything, but once you start to share really your objectives and what you want, what is driving you, it creates a kind of energy that drives people, that inspires people, and actually, what is it? It's not about you, it's about what you create, the drive you create from a bigger perspective. So thank you.
I'm just a woman. Enfin, j'ai un parcours très atypique. C'est pour ça, enfin, je le raconte rarement, mais Sana m'a dit tu dois raconter ton parcours parce que ça on n'a jamais vu. Donc ce soir je vous raconte mon parcours. Donc au départ je suis infirmière. Alors j'ai voulu faire le métier d'infirmière parce que j'aimais bien aider les autres et je me suis dit ça c'est un métier pour moi. Et donc j'ai fait mes études d'infirmière, c'était très dur parce que on m'a dit plusieurs fois oui mais tu sais Leuven tu fais le graduat mais tu dois peut-être aller voir le brevet. Enfin je ne sais pas pourquoi c'était les études les plus dures de ma vie alors qu'après vous allez voir j'ai fait plein de choses. Donc j'ai été infirmière et puis j'ai travaillé chez Pfizer qui est une firme américaine. J'ai travaillé dans la recherche clinique, donc j'ai été spécialisée de Pfizer États-Unis en recherche clinique. Et ensuite, justement, on travaillait, nous, sur c'était les tests juste après les animaux. Donc, c'était les médicaments qui étaient testés juste après, là, en phase 1. Donc, le premier test humain qui se fait sur des volontaires, donc des personnes saines. Et au bout de 2 ans, j'étais devenue manager et tout, c'était très bien. Mais je me suis dit, moi, j'ai fait infirmière pour aider les autres et pas forcément pour... j'avais besoin du contact humain et j'avais besoin de pouvoir avoir un impact. Et donc, voilà, j'ai été très vite recrutée par le centre du cancer de Saint-Luc. Et je vous raconte ça parce que ça a changé ma vie. J'ai travaillé donc, longtemps comme coordinatrice de recherche clinique, mais plutôt alors sur des patientes, puisque j'étais spécialisée en gynécologie et tout ce qui était cancer du sein et cancer de l'utérus. Et au bout d'1 an, donc j'ai suivi mes patientes et elles ont commencé à décéder. Il y avait des patientes jeunes, des patientes plus âgées. C'était émotionnellement très fort. Et je me suis interrogée sur le sens de la vie. Qu'est-ce que moi j'aimerais vraiment réaliser dans ma vie finalement? Qu'est-ce qui ferait que ma vie vaudrait la peine d'être vécue? Et on a bénéficié du plan cancer, c'était le plan fédéral, un plan politique qui nous a donné beaucoup de moyens pour la recherche et qui a permis d'engager aussi plusieurs personnes qui ont aidé les familles. Enfin voilà, on a mis plein de choses en place grâce à ce plan cancer. Et moi qui ne votais pas avant, je me suis dit waouh, c'est ça la politique. Parce que ça permettait d'activer des leviers importants et de pouvoir toucher beaucoup de monde en même temps. Et donc c'était plus moi, l'infirmière avec un patient, mais c'était des centaines de milliers de personnes qui étaient touchées par des politiques publiques. Et donc je me suis dit, c'est ça que je veux faire. Je veux être acteur de changement, je veux pouvoir aussi participer à une meilleure société. Et donc, moi qui étais infirmière, forcément, je vois le journal, je me regarde, c'est ma copine, et je me dis, j'avais raconté tout ça. Je me suis dit, bon, moi comme infirmière, je ne connais pas trop comment fonctionne la société, donc j'ai été faire un master en sciences politiques et économiques et sociales à Leuven, et j'ai dû changer de boulot puisque je travaillais comme infirmière le soir, le week-end, voilà. Alors j'ai été infirmière de crèche, et puis directrice d'une crèche. C'était des années passionnantes où je me suis vraiment bien amusée et j'ai été très conscientisée à la cause de la petite enfance. Justement, tout à l'heure, la Panellists parlait du congé de paternité, de la conciliation entre la vie privée et la vie professionnelle. Mais quand vous vivez là-dedans, vous vous rendez compte que c'est une vraie cause à défendre. Et donc voilà, donc j'ai commencé ce master sans penser moi-même faire de la politique à un moment, en me disant, moi la politique publique, ça me va très bien. Et on fait une première année, ça commence, Vénus commence à monter en soi. Et puis on se dit, allez, à l'UNIF, on me disait, oui, Leuven, tu dois penser à faire de la politique. Et moi je disais, moi, jamais, non. Alors très vite, ça m'a rattrapée. Donc j'ai regardé un peu tous les programmes politiques, j'ai regardé dans quel parti je pourrais m'investir, qui me plairait le plus, qui avait des valeurs qui se rapprochaient des miennes. Très porté sur l'humain et l'humanisme. Et donc j'ai choisi un parti et j'ai commencé chez les jeunes. du parti avec des activités avec les jeunes. Et puis après, j'ai très vite été repérée et très vite ça s'est enchaîné puisqu'il y a eu les élections en 2012 que j'ai eu l'honneur de faire à la ville de Bruxelles avec Bianca. C'est un très beau souvenir, ça fait très bizarre de parler de ça ce soir. Mais c'est comme ça que j'ai rencontré Bianca bien à l'époque déjà. Et ensuite, très vite, ça s'est enchaîné puisque j'ai Céline Frimaud qui est devenue ministre de l'économie. Donc j'ai intégré son cabinet, je finissais mes études. Et voilà, et alors après, je suis plus sortie de là. Jusqu'à un moment, j'ai été aussi chez la ministre de l'égalité des chances et de l'intérieur. Et puis je l'ai suivie quand elle a été ministre de l'éducation et de la culture et de l'enfance. Et donc j'ai récupéré à ce moment-là la compétence enfance, ce qui m'a ravie, où je me suis bien amusée aussi. Mais entre-temps, en passant par le cabinet de l'économie, je me suis prise, moi qui avais fait déjà quand même Sciences Éco, je me suis prise vraiment d'une passion pour Bruxelles et pour les entrepreneurs. Et je me suis dit, c'est un monde que j'aimerais bien explorer aussi. Et quand j'étais au cabinet de l'enfance et de l'éducation, je me suis dit, j'irais bien faire une année, un 3e cycle à Leuven en business management pour mieux comprendre le monde des entrepreneurs. Je vois Annie aussi, elle me regarde. C'est mes copines et elles se disent, mais elle ne m'a jamais raconté tout ça. Et donc je me suis dit, j'aimerais bien comprendre leur monde, comment justement ça fonctionne et comment fonctionne l'entreprise et comment les choses se font. Donc quand j'ai fait ce master en management, franchement c'est quelque chose qui, je pense, qui m'a beaucoup aidé même dans mon développement personnel, parce que forcément c'est un autre monde, entre le monde politique et le monde de l'économie et de l'entrepreneuriat. Voilà, c'est un monde qui est très ouvert, comme aujourd'hui, c'est un monde qui est international, c'est un monde qui est très dynamique, qui est très inspirant aussi, comme nos entrepreneurs ce soir.